Hello everybody, and welcome to something a little bit different. If you're new to OBS, I'm going to tell you the quick and easy way of getting set up. So first thing is to download OBS. Doesn't matter whether you're working with 32 or 64-bit systems, go to this website, I'll put a link in the description, and go for the latest stable. So the version I'm downloading here is 0.657. So the next thing is you go to your downloads folder, you double click on the XE file. If you're looking for the 64-bit version, find that you immediately default to the 32-bit. To change that, you need to go into your Windows, and the default version, the 32-bit version, actually sits in your x86 program files. So if you go to the non-x86 program files, go to OBS and double click on the executable there. That will start up your OBS in 64-bit, which you can then pin, use your shortcuts, and you're off, and you'll never be defaulted to the 32-bit again. Setting up OBS is very simple, as long as you don't feel the need to understand the settings. It's quite easy to press all the right buttons and put all the right numbers in the right place. Knowing why you're doing what you're doing is a lot more complex. For this video, we'll look at setting up OBS to do local recordings. I actually have OBS running, so I can't change this profile at the moment. So the first thing you want to do is to either add a new profile, or from your profile tab in OBS itself, make a duplicate of the default or untitled and rename it here. First thing I always select is the notification area icon, and that's what gives me down here this nice little indication that I'm recording or streaming at the moment. Quite useful. Let's look at encoding. These are not the default settings. Video encoding. The first thing you want to do is to untick the CBR box. Change your quality balance to 10. Maximum bitrate, set this to 1000 for recording, that's about perfect, and buffer size of 0. The audio encoding is set up specific to my microphone, and I've found that the format of my microphone, I use a Blue Snowball, and the format is 44.1 kilohertz. The default for OBS is 48 kilohertz, so just keep an eye on that. The bitrate that I use, I've turned it down to 96, and that's because in certain games, if I'm running group activities and there's a lot of stuff going on, the default higher bit rates defaults to 128, and I found that can cause popping and crackling. So if you get crackling and popping in your stream or your recording, just turn that bit rate down. Your bit rate's too high. Broadcast settings. This is a nice easy one. For setting up for local recording, you switch to file output only and choose a file path. I can easily turn out a 20-30 gigabit recording, and I've found that recordings can be a little bit stuttery if I haven't got at least maybe 100 gig free. I use RAW to tell me that this is my RAW recordings, and every time I make a new recording I rename it so that my next one will be the new RAW. The replay buffer file path I have never used, but I set it to my F drive so that I could keep a quick and easy eye on it. I would know where to find it should I start using it. Now let's look at the video settings. I want 60 FPS of course, and I want it in 1080p. So I set it as such. With some games this is a little bit too fast. If you get freezing or high encoding errors, this is the place to come back to. Then you'd need to turn down your FPS and increase your resolution downscale from none to something. We'll deal with that in a separate video. Audio. Choose your microphone of course. It's very common to have to boost your mic. This is my third microphone now, and with each one I've had to have a different microphone boost, and depending on whether we're using TeamSpeak or Skype, sometimes I need to turn my microphone down and then I can boost it back up here so that it's not quiet compared to the game. Hotkeys, set them if you want them. A mute unmute mic is a good one, but just make sure it's nothing that you're going to use in any game. Now this is where the magic happens. In the Advanced tab, there's 3 settings to look at. So the first thing is to use the custom X64 encoder settings. And check very carefully that you get these letters right. So it's CRF equals. And a good place to start is 22. So 22 gives you a reasonable quality without impacting performance. And then you decrease the numbers until you find a setting which works well with your games and doesn't cause any lag. So if you've got a game where you tend to get a lot of lag anyway, that's the good one to try it out with, and then decrease this setting. If you get down to 0, you're down to completely lossless, but you need a pretty good computer or a lightweight game to be able to support lossless. Once you've found an ideal setting, and for me I was getting really good quality at 15 on pretty much everything, and my computer can probably support a lot better than that, but I'm a bit lazy and I prefer not to have to tinker with too much all the time, so 15's pretty good. And then once you've sorted out your CRF value so that you're getting no lag, the thing to watch out for next is stutter. If you find that you're getting stutter, you can increase these settings here. And this determines how much of your processing power is going to be dedicated to the game rather than the recording. So lower, setting it on normal, is a higher quality recording and less processor power to the game. And your 264 CPU preset, the slower it is, the better the recording quality, the faster it is, the more of your CPU power is going to the game. I've got an i7, and with my settings how it is at the moment, very fast and normal, which are the default, along with a CRF of 15, does pretty well. If I have a game where I'm having no lag and everything's wonderful, but the video quality is just a little bit off, then I'll change this setting and decrease this down until I get to the point where I still have no stutter, but the game is nice and crisp and clear in the recording and it's not affecting my gameplay. If I find that I'm getting stutter, I'll start by increasing this one. If I find that I'm getting lag, then I increase the CRF number. And that's pretty much everything that you need to do with OBS. Set up some scenes, decide on your capture method. That's all very simple. We'll look at that in another video. It's something that's very easy to work out, but can have problems, so we'll maybe do that in a troubleshooting video. So thank you for watching. Bye for now.